go-kart seat. And my neighbor has been getting into the go-karts, and he's building some for his grandkids, and this is the latest one on the chopping block. And y'all gonna watch me make a seat for this go-kart. He already cut the wood and did all that stuff, and got it ready to go. I went ahead and put in some of these T-nuts, that way we can mount it easily. I opened up the holes on the frame to allow for some room for the bolts. So now I can put it on a little time lapse and put some foam on here, try to make a little pattern. And the go-kart is Hugger Orange, Chevrolet engine Hugger Orange. And we're gonna go with blue for the seat cover. I don't really know what I'm gonna do for a design. He said it didn't really matter, he just wanted it to look different. He didn't want it to be plain. So let's do that. So you can see I got this foam already on here for the bottom, and then this is the backrest. So all I'm going to do is put a little glue on here, put a little glue on here, and then cut it out with my little friend. Okay, before cutting this, I need to bring in my little friend. Say hello to my little friend. Oh! I got a little bit of glue overspray on the foam, so I'm going to put a little bit of this Keystone silicone release spray on the foam where I'm going to be cutting, and also on my blades. I don't know if that's like required, but it just helps me from getting a bunch of glue on the blades. So let's give it a go, and then I'll tell you what I think. Put it on here naked so we can make sure that the bolt holes are going to work, and to make sure that we're going to have clearance between the bottom of this seat and this seat, because I'm going to have to take some off, which is not a big deal, but I'd rather do it now before I put all this time into patterning it and stuff like that. So these are just 1/4 stainless steel bolts. They're 1 inch long, I'm pretty sure. And I'm just getting them hand tight because I'm just, like I said, I'm just testing it, and I know. Ew, look how dirty my hand is. The heck is that from? Anyways, so there's the back. I also got to put some foam on these armrests. I'll put the bottom in here. I don't think this is gonna work. That's what I thought. So, change of plans. We can't let this come off that far, and I put these holes on here. So I think we're gonna have to shorten the back that much. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take it, sit it up right, because this is where the back's gonna be. It's not gonna move with the bolt holes that I put in there. So I'm gonna do that. That'll be my line on the both of them to cut it out. Come back to you. I don't know why I do things hand tight when I got all these cool tools. So this 1/4 bolt has a 7/16 head. Many good places, really fast. So take that one out, that one out. So the T-nuts that are in there, they're very short. They're about 3/8 inch long. So they don't go the whole thickness of this 3/4 board. So we'll stick this to the side, because I will need those again. This is why you test fit stuff. I used to not like test fitting things because it seemed like, I'm like, oh, it's gonna work. No reason in doing that. Okay, so the glue that we used works pretty good, but it's more like a temporary type of glue. So as long as wow, that wasn't very smart. I didn't mark it. I like this foam to hang over about a 1/2 inch all the way around. So I'm just gonna mark the wood where this line is. I'm actually gonna go a ½ inch above the line. Yeah, it makes sense to you, but it does to me, so that counts. All right, so now let's connect the dots. I treated myself to these Milwaukee squares not long ago, and I feel like I earned that pretty well. So we're gonna mark our lines up here. Let's see. Oh, then my husband got me this one. Isn't this cute? I love this one. So I can know that this is 1 3/4. Come over here, 1 3/4. But we want a nice square line. We'll connect the dots. Don't tell nobody if this is crisscross. Colton might judge me. This fella, Colton, is a good little kid, so let's get him riding good. Okay, light work, light work. So now re-gluing it. That took like 15 minutes to make it right. So let's re-glue it. You do have a few, you're supposed to really wait for this to get tacky, but you don't tell, I won't tell. All right, let's test it out. All right, let's see if it's gonna clear. Oh yeah. The foam is nice and snug. Push down on it, which is kind of what you want. Nice and snug. So like I said, this is checking a lot of things. It's checking to make sure the bolt holes are gonna line up in that. We're gonna get a deep well. And just see how easy that ratchet knob is? I'm telling you. So, this will be close to what it looks like. When you add, I cut extra around this board. If you cut it flush and then you covered it with the material, it would be, you'd be able to see the wood. So you always leave extra foam on your wood to give it like a cushion. So when you wrap it, it'll be nice and tight. So, there you go. Next thing we gotta do is get some foam on these arms. Okay, so the other thing about kind of dry fitting it all is because if I had done this without this seat on here, I probably would have foamed this whole arm, and then when I put this back on, it wouldn't fit. So with the arm on the back on here, we only got to put some foam from here up. So yeah, we're gonna use this piece. We're gonna cut it. Probably use this piece. We're gonna cut it longer than this, and then probably wrap this with electrical tape and then put this on. That way it kind of minimizes the chances of injury. So let's do that. So run into a teeny tiny little issue. This is part of the patterning process. Also, my super fancy little friend, she died because I never charged her but once, so she's charging. So we gotta wait to finish this. But the issue we're gonna have with this, when we cover this, we gotta have something to hold it on. And this is kids go-kart, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Also, the owner, the builder, is cool with whatever I need to do. So what I got, I save everything. This is, I think 1/4 inch, maybe 5/16 thick PVC board type of stuff. It came off of that Burgundy Ranger that I did. If you scroll on my old videos, you can see this was the middle seat. They got replaced with that aluminum box, so it has a black tread pattern now, but this was the bottom of that. So this was the seat, you flipped it over. Anyways, I kept it because this stuff's really expensive and I have a hard time finding it. But anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a 1-inch strip, just the thickness of this pipe, because if it's fatter and then the kid wrecks this go-kart, which could very well happen, We don't want anything more than what's already here. So we're just gonna cut a 1-inch thick strip of this, and just from here to the end, and then I'm gonna rivet this onto here. I like rivets. Ooh, maybe not. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can. I have a really cool rivet tool. I'll have to show you. Anyways, I'm gonna rivet this under here, and that will allow me to have something to staple into. That's what they did, was they stapled into this to begin with. So we're gonna cut out 2 1-inch strips by, let's measure it. My husband's least favorite thing that I ever do is use my square to measure, but I get a very accurate measurement. 8 inches is what we're gonna go with, by 1 inch wide. Actually, yeah, 1 inch will be fine. And then I might have to change the way that I do this, because if you only do it 1 inch, it may, I gotta pattern it different. So I'll show you that. Let's go back to the cutting table. I like to cut this stuff outside, even though that giant attic fan pulls all the shavings right into the shop. It just kind of minimizes somewhat of the shavings mess. Clean up our mess. Oh Lord, my pencil shavings are getting everywhere. Don't tell Gary Monkey. Alright, now we gotta drill some holes for, it's kind of hard for you to tell from that angle, but I have the seat laid back. I took the bottom off, I took the foam off. I'm gonna have a hard time drilling from this little area up because the bottom's kind of in the way. So I'm just gonna make a hole all the way through the top and go into where I want this. See, like that. I don't know if you can tell, let me show you. See it? So we got this piece on here, and then I'm just gonna run a hole all the way through because it's easier for me to get to it this way than from that way. So let's do that. So this is the rivets that I decided to go with. Because this is plastic, I figured the little washer head, the bigger head, would do a better job holding this, just because it looked great. So I have some 1/4-inch stainless steel staples I'm gonna use to shoot into this. Hopefully I can get the long nose underneath there. That's tomorrow's problems. So now you gotta find a drill bit that will clear the rivet. And I like to go a little tiny bit bigger, especially with this big head. You can do that. So I'm gonna go with this one. This is 7/32, if it matters. Probably too big, but just don't tell on me. It already has a battery in it, which is not my bad. So we got that ready to go. Now when you put the drill bit in the drill, man, my hands are filthy. Which, by the way, guys, if you didn't know, I'm going to the beach. I might need to put a pilot hole in this. We're gonna run it. I'm gonna turn it like this, or not. I'm gonna take this off. So now we got 4 holes drilled in there, and we gotta, oh, not bend this. We're gonna kind of line this up. Actually, I should get some clamps. Hold on. So, a couple things we need to make this seat, these armrest covers. We need a measurement from here all the way around, length, and a front plate and this back plate, which is going to have like a U shape in it. So let's do that. So I need a couple measurements. Don't mind this, I'm going to use a different some foam, something, and it'll round these things out. So I want to go extra there so I have enough to put around and staple it. So I'm looking at 10 would be fine for that, and then I got 9.5, so probably not even. So yeah, you get this. We're gonna put 10 by 9. I need that 2 times. Then I need that is kind of good times. So let me cut this out. I need it 2 times because I'm making it twice. So I'm gonna put this on here. What I need is this cutout part. So I'm gonna do it like this. These squiggly lines are my staple marks. And then I need the front plate, which is gonna be plain. So I'll do the same thing. Squiggly, squiggly. So I need 2 of these, and I need 2 of these, and this gets cut out. And let's do that.